Yep, here we go with the news. This is Saturday here, October 12th, and this is like these people out here doing the work of the DC Dunce. You got a racist police chief guilty of lying to the FBI, but the jury remains deadlocked on the hate crimes. Said on Wednesday, the jury convicted a racist former New Jersey police chief who slammed a handcuffed teenager's head into a metal door jamb of lying to the FBI, but said they were deadlocked on the civil rights charges. The former Bordentown Township Police Chief Frank Nucera was the first officer to face the federal hate crimes in more than a decade. So we got, Nucera was recorded by his own officers as he went on racist rants against non-white citizens and declared then candidate Donald Trump the last hope for white people. Nucera thought that black people should stay the fuck out of border town, compared them to ISIS and animals, and said they had no value and should be mowed down by a firing squad. Nucera's legal team conceded that Nucera used ugly, embarrassing, disgusting words, but contended that there was no firm evidence he hit Timothy Stroy's head against the door jamb while the black 18-year-old was handcuffed, despite the fact that two Border Township police officers testified that he did just that. The Justice Department prosecutors, Nucera attorney Rocco Cipriani, told jurors at his opening statement, "Want you to turn criminal justice into social justice." On Monday, the fourth day of deliberations, jurors hearing the case in Camden told U.S. District Judge Kugler they were deadlocked on the charges against Nucera, but continued deliberating on Monday afternoon after Kugler asked them to keep trying to reach a verdict. The case against Nucera came to fruition a few months after Trump joked about slamming handcuffed suspects' heads in a speech before police officers. During the Trump administration, the Justice Department has backed away from investigating patterns of police misconduct in law enforcement. So they've been, all this stuff's been going on, and the Justice Department's been looking the other way. So you can thank Barney Rubble Barr over there for that. Barney Rubble looking motherfucker. Brooklyn Supreme Court judge arrested on charges of obstructing justice. And it's a black lady here that's a Supreme Court judge in Brooklyn. And her name is Sylvia Ash, was arrested on Friday and charged with obstruction of justice. She was subsequently suspended without pay from the Court of Appeals. Ash, presiding justice of the Commercial Division of the Supreme Court, is one of the more ubiquitous and well-respected members of the local legal community. Judges and lawyers were in shock on Friday upon hearing of the allegations. It's sad, really sad. Dominic Napolitano, former president of the Brooklyn Bar Association. I can't wrap my head around it, and I hope it's not true. I don't see her being that kind of person that would put herself in this position. Right now, it's just an accusation, and we have to give her the benefit of the doubt that the accusation is wrong. So Ash is the former chair of the board of directors of the Municipal Credit Union. Her charges stem from an alleged scheme to help cover up an embezzlement scandal involving MCU former CEO Cam Wong, who pleaded guilty to stealing millions of dollars from MCU in November 2018. Sylvia Ash, sitting on the state court judge, took repeated steps to obstruct a federal investigation into significant financial misconduct at MCU during Ash's tenure as chair of the board of directors, said U.S. Attorney Jeffrey Berman. The Supreme Court judge was arrested at LaGuardia Airport on Friday and appeared before Magistrate Judge Ona Wang in the afternoon. According to the criminal complaint, Ash received thousands of dollars in reimbursements and other benefits from MCU, including airfare, hotels, food, and entertainment from 2012 to 2016, during which time she was a board member at MCU. So basically, to be honest about that one, if she was a board member of that particular company at MCU, she should have had to recuse herself from that case. So if she didn't recuse herself and nobody asked her to, then I don't really see how they can bring charges up. But we'll see what's going to happen with that case. I'm going to have to come back on that one because she just got arrested yesterday, and the case is ongoing. And this is another situation thanks to the DC Dunce. What's going on a lot in the country right now. There's a Pennsylvania family arrested for loitering outside of their own home. Forget chilling in front of your own home if you're black. At least that is what one Chester Township, Pennsylvania family discovered earlier this month after several family members were arrested for loitering. Rachel Briggs, one member of the family, said that the incident began on October 1st when Officer Pasquale Storchi arrested her sons and nephew for loitering while they were playing in the front yard. The gentlemen were taken to jail. They had high bails placed on them. The family scrambled to get their money together. They were able to get them out the next day, Briggs told the station news. However, the young men weren't out of jail for long when they were released, and thankful family members were welcoming them back in the same front yard. Officer Storchi, who was white, once again reappeared and rearrested the young men and other family members the next day. This shouldn't happen to any citizen, and certainly a homeowner or someone who's renting property. Graphic, they got a thing here, says Chester Township Police Department has failed my family. Instead of protecting us and serving us, they decided to attack us on multiple occasions. Briggs said, who ended up being arrested as well. So it's it's crazy. It's real crazy, man. I'm telling you, they're doing a lot of crazy stuff out here. So you better be ready. Be ready, and keep some brass knuckles in your pocket. And here's the last story of this particular episode: $107 million judgment that bankrupt Death Row Records was voided. According to reports, a $107 million judgment against Death Row Records and Suge Knight that went down in 2005 was recently voided by a judge. News of this comes after a woman named Lydia Harris filed a motion in the case that pointed out the legality of how her lawyers were able to win the case over Knight and Death Row. Harris's attorneys said the voided judgment happened due to allegations that said judges, the bankruptcy trustee, and Harris's attorneys conspired to use her to wrongfully obtain the judgment that ultimately ruined Suge Knight and bankrupt Death Row Records. Harris noted that her lawyers convinced her to lie about being bankrupt so they could collect the judgment against Knight and Death Row. If it were known that Harris had filed for bankruptcy before filing the suit against Suge Knight and Death Row Records, she wouldn't have been able to sue because there would be no legal ground to stand on. So this $107 million judgment against Death Row Records and Suge Knight, this is fresh news. This just came out today. So I don't know how much money if they're going to be able to get back anything. I mean, this is just the preliminaries, and that $107 million judgment against Suge Knight has been overturned, and so it's been voided. So now he's going, they're going to have to go back, take him back to court, and try to see if they can get their money back. Hopefully, that $107 million, it's no telling how much they might get back if they do get anything back. So, that when they want to take you down, it's they'll use anything to take you down. So this thing said a judge was involved, the bankruptcy trustee, and the attorneys all conspired to use her to wrongfully obtain the judgment that ultimately ruined Death Row Records. So let's see what happens with that one, folks. Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes on the prize. Here we go. Saturday. Peace.